Hello everyone, it's Helder here. Today I wanted to go ahead and speak to you and review this tool sharpener made by AccuSharp. Now those of you that have been around in the field for a while are probably familiar with whetstones and using that as our primary sharpening tool in the field. I know that's what I was used to for years. The problem that we have with that is it does take a certain amount of skill to be able to sharpen your tool correctly. So there's always that learning curve, and in the process a lot of tools get messed up, to say the least. So I was sent this tool to me, the sharpener, to go ahead and review, and it's ironic because I already had one of them in my kitchen that I had been using for a couple years. So I knew that this was pretty much good to go. Just took it out of the packaging today because of the experience that I do have with the AccuSharp. The only real difference here is the color. Now, going with the color, the reason why I had asked for an orange one to be sent to me is that when we are out in the field, we're always dropping stuff. And you know that sometimes when you drop stuff, it's very difficult to find. So when you have something orange like this, especially for a tool that you're not using in any kind of tactical situation, it's always cool to go with the bright orange so that you could make sure that you could retrieve your gear if it does fall out or get displaced from your pack or your person. Now what we have here is these carbide tungsten sharpeners here, and it's just basically this V-notch. And what we're doing here is basically taking the blade that we're working on. So right now let's go ahead and go with our kitchen knife, because that's what I was first exposed to with the AccuSharp. And what we're doing here, what the manufacturer recommends, is to always put the tool on a stable surface. All right, in this case it's being my kitchen knife, and they want it to hang out about 1.5 inches, let's say, off the end here. So whether you're doing it on a table, for the purposes of this demo, I'm just doing it on a piece of wood here, okay, which would probably mimic more so what we would be utilizing in a field. Now what we want to do is we have this cool guard here, this knuckle guard, to protect you from the actual blade. But we can't be stupid here. We still have to realize that we have to align this, okay, perfectly. So we have those two little, or the V-notch in here. And what I'm going to do is just apply. Now, I'm not sitting here and pressing, okay? I am just basically using just a tab of pressure to just glide across the edge and bringing it down. Okay, once again, nice and level, bringing it through. You can hear it, going ahead, working on that metal, sharpening it up. Now, the cool thing about this is, especially if you keep and maintain 2-3 passes with the sharpener, you're good to go. That's usually what I'll do in the kitchen. When right before I'm ready to prepare something, let's say, I'll go ahead and give it 2 or 3 passes with the AccuSharp, and it's good to go and seems to maintain its edge and its proficiency. Let's keep in mind that if we do have a dull edge, it's a very dangerous situation that we have going on, because just think about it, ends up bouncing around, and that's how we end up getting cut and stabbed, and by ourselves. So we kind of want to be smart about that and keep our tool sharp. So here I have my buck knife, a hunter buck knife, something that I've actually used the other white one that I have over there to go ahead and sharpen. So you can tell, follows the same exact principle, not too complicated here. Anybody can do it, just be smart. Right? You have your little thumb rest area here. And once again, I am not pressing. It's almost just the weight of my hand with just a little bit of tension, just going ahead and gliding across, keeping me safe, and at the same time not destroying the metal on my knife, because the harder you press, the more metal you're going to take off, eventually rendering that blade useless. I've used it for all sorts of blades. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky with the camera angle, but I also have, let's say, my tomahawk here that we're always throwing around and dulling the blade, because of course we miss more than we actually hit the target. But I guess that's what practice is about, and that's how we get good, right? So once again, same scenario, just a little bit more delicate because of the fact that you have this awkward angle here compared to the straight edge that would lie perfect either on the table or on this tree stump, so to speak. All right, so good to go. Once again, sharpening all sorts of tools, great multi-purpose thing, and it weighs like nothing. It weighs like a couple ounces, right? So we don't have to worry about that. The size also is relatively small. So we add all this stuff together. It's something that is good to go to keep in your pack or in several packs. And in my case, one in the kitchen and one in the go bag. I have this other blade here, actually a combination of blades that I got from a commando in Brazil. But the one thing about this blade is I'm sure that it has seen, very dull, some serious action. Okay, so keep in mind also that this does do serrated edges as far as this tool sharpener, so you're good to go both on serrated and on a just regular straight edge. All right, so I kind of wanted to show you here just with a piece of paper, and I could actually use the wrapping that the AccuSharp came in, right? Made in the USA, good stuff. So as I press down, okay, you can tell there's not really much happening here. Okay, pretty dull blade. So let's go ahead, use our little magic sharpener here, right? Feeling more and more like an infomercial every day. Pressing that down, going ahead with a few stripes here. Here I'm going to go at least 4 or 5 passes because of the fact this thing's so dull and probably hasn't been sharpened in years. All right, just nice and gentle, basically applying least amount of pressure as possible and just going through. Go ahead, get the same exact package here, going through the back, and a little different, right? So very good to go. Just a little bit of sharpening. One other aspect that I wanted to bring up is as far as these V notches, they do last a while. Once again, the more care and the less amount of pressure that you put in, both to not destroy your blade or the edge of the blade, and also to keep this serviceable longer, so that you could keep utilizing it and not wearing out the little V notch in here, right, with the carbides. But you can also reverse these. That's the cool thing. You have these 3 screws, take them out, you can go ahead and reverse these 2 notches, and you get another extended life out of it, right? Just however long this, so you're basically doubling the life capacity of this. They do sell interchangeable, the carbide tungsten things that are on the inside, but they're almost as expensive as going ahead and purchasing a new one. So I would recommend just purchasing a new one. They're very inexpensive. Once again, I will put all the specs in the blog post, so make sure that you check it out. I'll also post a link of where you can go ahead and get this. Once again, great tool. For those of you that are into blades and have all sorts of bladed tools, you will understand or appreciate the value of this little, light, inexpensive item. This is Helder. I hope that you enjoyed this review.
Not have it readily available. So I asked my dad if he had a knife sharpener. He said yes. And so he handed me a knife sharpener of design that I've seen and used before. It was this one. It worked great. A few swipes later, I was back in business. I told myself, I've got to get one of those. So I've been needing a couple of good utility kitchen knives and was not pleased with the offerings from local stores. I guess I'm just picky. Well, I happened to find a great set of kitchen knives during Prime Days, and I'm super pleased with them. I got a great deal on a set of color-coded Cuisinart kitchen knives. Great quality, really sharp. You can see they knew they were sharp enough. They needed to put guards on them. There were 6 knives, and I don't know if it's legal or even gauche to do 2 reviews in one, but those are a great set of knives. So the paring knife, which is what I use most, is starting to get dull, and I can't have that. So I began looking on Amazon for the sharpener that I used at my dad's. It didn't take long to find it. It was the most popular one, and for a good reason, and I'll show you why. In my humble opinion, this is the best sharpener you can get for a lot of cutting instruments. It's the best one I've used personally. So I'll use this for sharpening whatever I have the need of sharpening. So, got a bowl of cherry tomatoes here, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to just, nice and easy. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. You can see that, okay? So I've got a peach here as well. You know, nothing. You can see the indentation. I'm not putting too much. I mean, you could put a lot of pressure and really bear down and do what you wanted, but I've learned that it's much nicer to have a sharp instrument. So you take the AccuSharp thing, you put it in your hand, whichever hand you use. You're gonna hold it like this if you're right-handed, this if you're left-handed. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna hold this here and hold the knife like so the blade's up. I'm just gonna take and insert that over the blade and just do a couple of 3 or 4 swipes down. Gentle pressure. And just follow the contour of the blade down. Okay. Do a little rinse action here. Not that it's necessary. Get my cherry tomato and we'll see what happens. Wow, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's try it again. Maybe it was a fluke. Like a hot knife through warm butter. Let's see what a couple of other swipes does. Cut some tomatoes up for my lunch. Look at that. That's just, I love it. Perfect. Peach maybe? Woo. Oh yeah, I love it. Fantastic. So there you have it. The AccuSharp knife sharpener. And just a shameless plug for the Cuisinart here. I've used this quite a bit too, but this knife is still super sharp. I actually was a little careless and put a cut on my thumb there. Still hurts today. But I mean, I've used this numerous times, and you can still see how sharp it hello, super sharp. So a great product by Cuisinart, and a great product to keep my Cuisinart knives sharp, the AccuSharp knife sharpener. Get one today.
Okay, so this is a review of the AccuSharp Pro knife and tool sharpener. So I've just got this here, it's brand new, haven't used it before. And what I'm going to be doing is sharpening this knife. So this is a relatively inexpensive knife I purchased off Amazon about 1.5 years ago. And I've been maintaining the edge with a honing steel. So for reference, honing steels merely correct the angle of your edge and straighten it. They don't actually file metal off the knife, which is what this sharpening tool would do. Now, for reference, this is a tomato. It's quite a firm tomato, and this is just completely, well, not completely dull, but not as sharp as it could be. So, using just the weight of the knife, if I draw the knife across it, it's not piercing the skin or anything. So, this knife is rather dull. So I'm going to sharpen it using this. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to do this on the counter. However, the instructions do say to put your knife so that the tip is off the counter. And I imagine that the reason they do that is because it'd be quite difficult to get the edge if you know, you can't move down past your bench counter. I'm just going to angle this down a bit. Okay, so they say that you need to position this 90 degrees relative to your knife and apply light pressure. So I don't know how many passes I'm going to need, but maybe I'll just do 5 with light pressure. So let's give it a go. One more. Okay, so I've just done that there. Now, it's probably not going to be able to pick it up on the camera, but I can see small metal filings on the end of the knife where it has shaved metal off, and I can also see the same on the knife sharpener itself. So I'm just going to go and clean the knife off, and then let's try it on the tomato. Okay, so I've cleaned it off. Now I'm just going to try the draw test. Okay, so just that there, I know it's quite subtle, but the knife has actually grabbed at the skin of the tomato, and I can see a very faint incision there, and that's just with the weight of the knife itself. So I can already tell that this is actually quite sharp, just based on that. And if I just draw it through the tomato, so yeah, I mean, it's reasonably sharp, but to actually get a super razor sharp edge, I'm going to need to use more sort of specialized tools. But I think, you know, for my purposes, this is absolutely fantastic. It's done exactly what I need it to do. And I generally don't like to work with knives sharper than this anyway, because, you know, you're more likely to injure yourself inadvertently. So yeah, overall, great product. Highly recommend it.
Okay, we're going to do a quick demonstration. We got the AccuSharp knife and tool sharpener. We're going to do the tomato test. I picked some random, really crappy knives actually. Don't worry about the brand or anything, but that's what we're going to do. I like to cut the tomatoes, and I don't like the juice to come out. So I'm just doing like this, finger pressure. I mean, just actually the blade. So I'm having to saw this guy. It's able to cut through the tomato. It's really not that sharp of a knife. Okay? That's all blade pressure from the weight of the blade. Okay, now we're gonna get this little knife right here. Oh, this one's terrible. I can't even. I'm sawing through this thing. Well, they're able to cut through the tomatoes, okay? So now what we're gonna do is I got the AccuSharp. It has the carbine blade to give you a nice edge. I've never been able to sharpen a blade. So what you do is you put it down on an edge so I don't contaminate. You theoretically don't want to do this over the cutting board. You would want to do it over the counter is what I've noticed what works the best. But you start right here on the back of this chef knife, there's a little edge. And you just run it across to the end, to the point. So you start right here and go. Okay? And you don't need a lot of pressure, just light pressure will do. And you got the little finger protector, which makes it very, very easy and safe to use. We'll just do some passes. Okay, and then I would take the same tomato and we'll just, wow, one swipe. See, again, look, this is just a blade. The blade did that. And then I'll go ahead and grab another fresh tomato. Which I think tomatoes are one of the hardest things to cut if you don't have a good blade. But yeah, it's definitely cutting right through the tomato like nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to this little guy. Just a few little clean. It's actually kind of fun. It's kind of therapeutic. Oh yeah, you feel a nice edge on that. Okay, here we go. This is just the blade pressure. Gives it a nice cut. Now I'll actually put some real pressure on it. Wow, cuts right through it. So there you go. You have it, the AccuSharp. Very good deal. You won't be disappointed.
So you got your AccuSharpener. Put your knife on the edge of the counter like it says. Just a couple passes with it. Wipe your knife off. You got a piece of paper.